Hello and welcome back to the Public Relations Podcast. You're listening to me, Richard Midson, who you can find on LinkedIn at just search for Midson. That's Midson. So I thought I would just do a quick one-off episode today. I've got some more interviews coming up over the next couple of weeks, which particularly next week, I think it's going to be really interesting because I'm talking about AI with Jerron Boss from PR.co, who is a technologist. And he's been running this platform, PR.co, for years, and he's really good at keeping up with what's going on with the trends. And so, anyway, I'll get that interview out to you next week. But I just thought I would bring up something which people have been talking about a lot with me recently, which is about the future PR. You know, where is it going to go? What are the opportunities? And I've been talking about it recently with Komal and Taranjeet in the last couple of weeks on those episodes too. And the real question is, well, where does PR go? You know, what is the future of it if AI is basically going to run everything? And I've actually written a little article, which I'm going to put out later this week, but I thought I'd share the thoughts with you now, because basically we are standing on the edge of what is going to be a major shift in the world of public relations and communications, right? For years, success in comms was about knowing the right people, crafting the right messages, and managing that information flow. But in 2025, we've now crossed into something entirely different. You know, we are no longer living in this kind of just information economy. We're in an execution economy, but AI is executing faster than any human has ever been able to do. And you've got tools like, I was reading about Magnus the other day, which is an AI tool that will take your project, it will plan your project, but then it will provide the timetables for it. It'll even book flights if you need to go somewhere. It will basically organize the meetings and everything. So you'll be able to plan a campaign from the initial idea and pretty much have everything booked and done for you. So what place does AI have? Now, at the moment, we know the accuracy is still a big problem for AI. So it's not like over yet, but the problem is this technology is building every year and it's getting better and better. In fact, it's getting better and better every month. So where does that leave the human comms professional? Here's the problem, right? If we're honest with ourselves, humans, including me, including all of us, aren't as complex as we like to think we are. And while that might sound weird, if we look back at history, for thousands of years, we've made the same behavioral mistakes over and over again, often with fairly predictable results. And we operate really on a surprisingly modelable, if that's such a word, emotional logic. And as much as we might think we are completely different and think independently, if there are patterns, which there clearly are in how humans work, AI is going to be able to look into these and get at least some handle on them. You know, it is already learning how to replicate tone, predict sentiment, adapt language for influence. Even when you talk to ChatGPT in terms of its voice, it's able to engage you in an emotional way with its tonality, which is all because of its processing power behind the scenes. So in 5 years' time, it's likely that it's going to model many of the nuances of emotional and cultural context better than many, at least junior, PR pros. And yet, there's still something that it can't quite reach. AI is going to struggle in one very specific domain, and that is the grey zone. And this is where the rules aren't clear, where the risks are high, and where the story has two sides and neither is clean. So think ethical ambiguity, like fossil fuels, like defense. Basically, areas where their GPT or AI doesn't quite know which side it should be on. So think of anything where there's a real debate in society, or politically charged campaigns where you've got a division of society, or crisis management in real time, when there isn't all that backup data to match with exactly whatever is the current complaint or thing that is going on with the organization you're representing. There's leaked information as well. It can't necessarily model an exact case. I mean, there's going to be patterns, you know. Someone releases some financial information that shows you've been frauding them, or in science, maybe they've put out something about chemicals or drugs that don't work, or there's something like that. So there's a lot of modelable patterns, but there's also a lot of situations which we don't really know about yet. And because the society keeps changing, new little nuances come in. So there's a big question about reputation that AI is going to struggle to keep up with. So in AI, in these particular spaces, AI doesn't know which line to walk. And it always errs on the side of caution and neutrality and sort of policy compliance. Now, part of this is because it's written into the platforms like ChatGPT has a sort of, you'll know if you start asking it controversial questions, it will push back on that. Now, AI is itself with a specific data set set up by a company that hasn't put in those same controls may well be a lot more objective, but it is still basically trying to find a commonly agreed approach. What is the most likely answer to this question or thing that I'm putting forward? Because that is literally how AI works. It is predicting what is likely to be the best answer for that situation, which means that it's not good at dealing with these edge cases. And this is where PR may actually need to step in because AI simply can't do it. So really, in a way, AI is the intern while you are the operator. AI is going to become the default executor of safe, structured campaigns. It's going to get really, really good at that. It's going to be able to write press releases. It's going to be able to target the standard journalists, the standard reporters or influencers or whoever it is. It's going to be able to A/B test the subject lines, even simulate journalist reactions and public reactions based on that story. But it won't be able to persuade that reluctant CEO to take a calculated reputational risk. It might be able to come up with data, but often persuading the CEO or the CMO requires a bit of human nuance and a human understanding to persuade someone to actually do it. I mean, how often in business do people do what they want to do rather than what the data is saying? We're human. It's always happening all the time. The other element is like convincing the legal team that it's worth just pushing across that line a little bit more. The legal team will always be kicking back against AI. What about if you're standing in a crowded conference bar? The most obvious thing that AI can't do, building trust over a drink. As we also know, and I mean, you don't have to be doing PR or comms for very long to know that getting a bad story across the line is much easier than a good story when you know the journalist or the reporter or the influencer already. Getting a journalist just to take the call because they trust you is something that AI is not going to be able to generate in the same way. And when you've got so much AI content standing out, that edge, that human interaction edge, is going to make a difference. So those things live in a realm that AI can't reach. Human trust, interpersonal nuance, and the weight of this responsibility and being able to push beyond that. So it's going to take some internal courage as well. If you're hoping to have a nice, easy ride in the world of comms in future, then, well, I'm afraid AI is going to be taking those stories. AI is going to be doing the regular day-to-day PR. But where the humans step in is with the bold stories, is where getting corporate leaders to actually do things which stand out above the noise. So we've got two tracks for future comms. We've got mass market AI comms, the auto-generated content, the fast turnaround coverage, the safe, scalable, and mostly sterile content. It's still going to be tailored on a level that we've never seen before. You're not going to get the spray and pray approach. Well, at least if you do that, your agency's going under because it's just going to be too much tailored content that is going to be going out there. But that's still going to be AI generated. But the high trust, the human-led, the edge case comms is still going to need a human to be able to push things over the line, to make that judgment, and frankly, to take that risk. In a world where anyone can tell a story, and any AI bot will be able to do, people will pay for someone who knows which story is worth telling that is going to stand out over that noise, and when also to stay silent. So no, PR isn't dead. It's far from dead, but it's not going to be handed to those who cling to the old ways of doing things in the easiest possible way. It's going to be handed to those who are prepared to push the envelope and go beyond. So the future belongs to those who can walk into that grey zone with their eyes open, who can take the responsibility and be bold when AI is being cautious, and crucially be the ones to tackle and sell the stories that the machines are unable to handle due to a lack of good data or because they're trying to be too conformist. At the end of the day, it's actually our flaws, our imperfections, our ego that will allow those who operate in this space to actually survive beyond AI. Because AI doesn't have those flaws. It can't take those chances, which could be the things that could absolutely transform a campaign. So it's time actually to embrace our failures, because it's the work of humans who dare who will win. There's a thought for this week. There's so much going on in the AI space at the moment, and it's really important, I think, that we all look at the trends of what's going on. So I hope you find it useful. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff on it. As I say, next week, I'm going to be speaking to Jerron Boss from PR.co about the technology and about how that's all adapting. In the meantime, can I wish you a very good week? And if you have any questions for me, if you'd like to reach out, or any questions about this or any other aspect of the work you're doing, and perhaps I can help with some of the insights from the many people that I speak to each week, then feel free to reach out to me. You can always direct message me and connect with me on LinkedIn just by searching for Richard Midson, Midson.